Oh hey, what's going on everybody? My name's Kobe Scroby and tonight I have with me Umbrelladoc.
What's going on?
And we're gonna do something a little different tonight. We're going to react to some scary videos on the internet. No video games being played tonight, which is strange. It's something different for this channel. Decided to try it, thought it'd be fun. Hopefully you guys, it's something that people enjoy instead of just the same old stuff every day, I guess. So
it's always good to throw something different in the mix.
Oh, I suppose I could show my desktop here. Forgot to press the button. Yeah, I mean, I just have been playing games like forever, you know, and occasionally there'll be a video of something else that I did, or my kid playing a game, or we get these like science crates in the mail that we'll put together and I'll record those. But for the most part, it's games. So thought this would be fun. We should probably start with the one that we kind of teased last night, the Curve one, where we watched...
Oh, the one on the edge of the sea. Oh,
yeah. So just because we've already watched a couple minutes of it, we should probably... Oh, I didn't start at the beginning. Okay, so basically all that happened was she woke up there and they showed some waves and it showed that she was sitting here on this curve. Sorry, I didn't realize I didn't start it at the beginning. So she woke up on this concrete thing like that.
Correct.
That's really all we missed, so.
Yeah, and she slid down a little bit.
Dude, what do you do? Dude, I feel like...
You poop a little. That's what you do.
She's already seems like she's too far. Like she should be sliding.
And her leg is in a really bad position.
Oh, I bet that hurts. Or it's numb. Yeah.
That sound.
So this is only 7 minutes longer, so it's not really that long. I think my first instinct would be to want to roll over and be face down, you know, where I could stand up or maybe like on my knees. But I don't know if that's a good idea.
The angle, that's what would worry me about going to my knees.
It's a little steep.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, so she just tried to do what I was just saying.
I think her legs broke.
It could be.
And it's the only thing holding her up.
At the end of this, I'll say what I think this thing is that she's in. Ew. So I think she's trying to dry her hand to get more traction. And maybe where it showed where she pulled her fingers apart, the blood might... I don't know if it's slippery or if it's sticky. Nice. She's kind of sitting up now. Oh. So is that the other side? The opposite side?
Yeah. That means somebody else tried the same thing.
Oh, wait, there's more. Oh, and there's blood. Wait, did someone else fall? Oh, is that what that was? That noise? Hold on.
Or was that an echo?
Because there's more blood on the other side now. And it's running.
I think that might be her blood. And if so, that makes this really creepy.
I think that there's people getting dropped in on the other side. And someone just fell down into the pit. But I don't know. Oh, God. What is that?
Oh, it's gonna rain.
Perfect.
Well, say goodnight, Alice, because it's gonna get a lot more slippery.
Oh. She's gone. That's it.
Wow.
So I thought that was really good, but I want to. So what I think is that. Can I go back so I have to look at these? Yeah. I think that they're like flying over top and they're dropping people in here and they're like hitting and falling in, and there's like a monster down here or something. Or I don't know. Whatever that noise was.
I think it's more of a psychological thing. Like fighting with your inner demons.
Mm-hmm.
And like the markings on the other side were the exact same markings that she was making.
Oh, okay.
And then you heard the scream, like the slide and the scream.
Mm-hmm.
It was an echo of what she did. Like the opposite side was showing the future. And it's where she didn't want to be.
Okay. I can see that.
You know, and I what I think is it's one of those inner fights of depression.
Okay. I don't normally have a tendency to think of things in that, like I think more literal, but yeah.
I think, yeah, and I think psychological.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I never even thought of that. And this is the second time I've seen this. I just assumed they were dropping more people on this side, but yeah, I know what you mean. These are exactly what she was doing. And then when she fell, she probably like flipped over and tried to grab here.
Correct.
Well, cool. What do we got next?
Now, this one here it makes you think. Like, it really makes you think. And it's not scary. It's more of a patriotic thing. And it pretty much tells the story of the true meaning behind the Star-Spangled Banner and why a lot of patriots are hardcore into the American flag.
Okay.
And the reasoning behind why the Star-Spangled Banner, like how that song came to fruition. And it makes you think about it in a different way. Like, everybody knows the Star-Spangled Banner,
mm-hmm.
but nobody knows what the words mean.
Yeah, so I'm interested in stuff like that, like where traditions actually came from. Oh, this looks scary already.
Yes.
Like, for example, I heard this story about Christmas and Santa Claus, and it has to do with like Amanita muscaria mushrooms, and basically mushrooms, and people sneaking down chimneys to try to do drugs because it was illegal and stuff. I'd be interested to find like a short video about that too. Like, I can tell the story, but not very well. I can't repeat it very well.
I might have to look into it, but yeah, definitely.
I thought it was super interesting. So like traditions like that, to find like the origin of it is super interesting to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's what the Star-Spangled Banner is. It's the origin of the Star-Spangled Banner and what the words of the Star-Spangled Banner mean.
Okay. Well, let's do that one. This one's only 11 minutes long, so we'll go from kind of a psychological horror one to like a
good history one.
History, like origins. And then I guess we'll continue on with this one. I'm already scared of this. Maybe it's just because of like the grainy footage.
Oh no, glass got thrown at her. Like the minute you loaded it,
okay.
Something got thrown at her. See? And it's banned. It's banned in the BBC because this footage terrified the whole country.
All right, let's do this one here next. I did find the beginning of this pretty interesting. I never heard any of this. The Star-Spangled Banner, as you've never heard it before.
There was a lawyer once. His name was Francis Scott Key. He penned a song that I'm sure you're aware of. You've seen it. It's in most hymnals throughout our churches. It's called the national anthem. It is our song as an American. We go, however, to a ball game. We stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips, and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict with the mother country, Britain. Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners. They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis. Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men. And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free. He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry?
There's only 15 stars on there.
Yes, this is during the initial, 15 colonies.
What year was this? Did they say?
I would imagine it would be in the 1800s.
Okay. And
it was during the time, it was just after the British Tea Party, or the Boston Tea Party.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was after that, so the colonies were only at 15.
Okay. I've heard of the name Francis Scott Key, but I couldn't have told you anything about him.
Yeah.
So
what they're saying about him is 100% legit. He was, an attorney or a lawyer or something?
Mm-hmm.
He was a nobody. and they're just hey, go talk to the British to see, negotiate with them because you're a good talker.
Yeah. We'll wait over here.
Yeah, we're going to wait over here, and we're going to see if you can successfully get our people back. Imagine being him. Imagine going to the bottom of the ship and seeing, anywhere from 60 to 70, patriots, in cages being treated like dogs.
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to be able to send commanders or whoever to negotiate and not get attacked. Whereas if you do get attacked, that'll just start the war right there.
Well, there's a reason the British said, sure, come on over, negotiate all you want. And it's because they already made a set plan, which they're coming up to now, on what will happen.
All right, let's go.
And, yeah.
He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth. He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet. He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort. It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war is over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort.
The fort that they're talking about was pretty much a fort that housed soldiers' families. Husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, the whole 9 yards.
He said, don't worry about it. They said, we've left them a way out. And he said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop.
Oops, sorry, I was muted. Crap.
And we'll know that they've surrendered, and you'll now be under British rule.
Sorry, Jaquella, I read your chat.
And told the men what was about to happen. And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top, and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed. He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is. What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling, every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb, and Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down. The admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them? He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees. The admiral said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer, God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. Sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The
bombs bursting in air through the night that the flag was still there. Jaquel Manning says, I would travel back in time and use a A-10 and win every war.
That is a very good point. The A-10 is the most terrifying and most lethal aircraft that the United States has. In saying that, you can turn an A-10 into Swiss cheese and it will still fly.
Here's an A-10. Oh, wait. Is this it? It's showing a few different ones here. Is this what it is?
Yep, that's the A-10.
Dang.
You can turn it into Swiss cheese and it will still fly.
It's even got the jet engines up on top like a commercial jet.
It's the most advanced form of a Thunderbolt.
Wow.
I mean, it's vicious, 100%.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle, but the flag was still at the top. Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he'd found had happened was that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when it had fallen, but men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground, although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly until they died. Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were patriots' bodies. He penned the song, "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Or the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet fly and wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The debt was demanded. The price, it was paid."
Oh, say.
Now, listen very carefully to the words after this story.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose
The subtitles are wrong.
Yeah, they are.
stars through the perilous fight,
Fame.
o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And
Oh my God, that's terrible.
it's break the bombs bursting
The moms were stinging? Sorry. What?
through the night,
I think somebody put that in there.
that our flag was still there. Oh, say,
What?
was that star spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
The red parts were still screaming like,
The pole mom.
wow.
Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave
Okay, this might be one where you don't want to watch it with the subtitles.
o'er the land
Oh, this is priceless.
Yeah, it is.
and the home of the brave?
Oh, that was perfect. We couldn't have staged that.
No, that definitely was not staged at all.
Blessed in the nation whose God is the Lord. Psalms 33:12. You.
I cannot believe it said the red part's still screaming.
Oh, that's funny. Oh man, we should watch this one.
That was yours.
That's funny.
That is funny, but like all in all, like it's really touching and it's really emotional and it really shows what true patriots would do. Just to back then, like imagine like 300 to 400 cannonballs heading in your direction
Oh yeah, and
And
all
your
you had
whole
to
purpose is to hold that flag up.
yeah, and all they had to do was to prevent it was put the flag down, and they're like, hell no.
But that was the American people, the American patriots going, you know what? We don't want to be under British law, and we don't want to be slaves.
Mm-hmm. Man, that makes me want to play Assassin's Creed 3. I started doing it on the 4th of July. That was cool. Little history knowledge there for you.
Real good history knowledge, yeah.
I wonder if we could do like the origin of Santa Claus and mushrooms? Santa Claus and the magic mushrooms. See, I heard it on Joe Rogan. And a lot of the Christmas cards looked like this with elves and mushrooms and stuff like that back in the day.
Wow.
So that's where I heard of it. Let's we got this one here queued up. Let's do horror story POV next. All right, this one I'm instantly already afraid of, but let's see what happens. Okay. I guess we can't watch it. Okay. Oh.
Hello everyone, Arya here, and I hope that you are having a fantastic week so far. Regardless of how your week is going though, it's about to get a lot better, because you and we're going to spend some quality time together, cuddled up, watching a scary movie. For today's video, we will be watching a movie from the 90s that was aired on the BBC and subsequently banned after not just numerous complaints, but reports of viewers suffering PTSD and even a death. I am very excited because today's video is a confluence of two of my favorite things, horror movies and terrible things happening in the real world. And before you judge me, let's be honest, we're all here on this channel because we are equally fascinated by the, at times, horrifying, wild, and terrible things that can sometimes happen out in the real world. Halloween night 1992 saw the premiere of a new television program on BBC known simply as Ghost Watch. Around 11 million people tuned into the program, which was billed as a drama, but filmed in the style of a documentary, a purportedly live investigation of paranormal activity at the home belonging to the fictional Early family in northwest London, which was presented as the most haunted house in Britain. Essentially, the program was a fictional ghost story presented as a real investigation to many unwitting viewers. Throughout the show, presenters followed the ghost activity around the home, while the Early family faced increasingly scary ghostly encounters, all building towards a terrifying climax.
Oh, yeah.
While the crew of the program celebrated with drinks during the airing of Ghost Watch, many viewers, especially children, were left traumatized by the show. According to Stephen Volk, a horror writer and creator of Ghost Watch, the program's producer, Ruth Baumgarten, arrived at the party with a white face, saying the switchboard was jammed at BBC during the airing. She said that many callers were very irate. Over 20,000 people attempted to call in during the program, many of them being children, believing what they had witnessed were real events. Some reports include upwards of 3 pregnant women going into labor while watching, and a vicar calling to complain about the demonic forces raised by BBC, even if the program wasn't real. In a study published by the British Medical Journal on March 12, 1994, researchers shared the experiences of 2 adolescent boys, 10 and 11 years old, who had experienced PTSD linked to watching Ghost Watch. In one of the cases, the 11-year-old had experienced an entire year of sleep difficulties, nightmares, fear of the dark and sleeping alone, fear of ghosts, intrusive thoughts, and panic attacks. One particular family, the Denhams of Nottingham, experienced an especially tragic result of the aftershock of the program. The family, including April and Percy Denham and their sons, Martin and Gavin, watched the program. April and Percy reported that throughout the show, Martin, who was 18, became more and more agitated. April spoke to his increasing agitation as the broadcast continued, saying, "He sort of curled up while watching it. We asked if he was all right, but he seemed hypnotized by it." In the days following the broadcast, Martin reportedly started to change. According to April, Martin seemed entranced with the talk of ghosts. Then, 5 days after watching the BBC broadcast, Martin died by suicide.
What?
Martin had tied some plastic hose to a tree at Bestwood Park and had hung himself not far from their home. On his body, Martin had left behind a note in his pocket reading, If there is ghosts, I will now be one, and I will always be with you as one. Ultimately, despite the high ratings, the BBC banned Ghostwatch from ever being shown on the air again. As a horror movie aficionado, I'm very keen to watch this movie and to kind of see firsthand a film that had such real world ramifications. So let's begin. All right, Michael Parkinson in
It's a reaction
Ghostwatch.
to a reaction.
Yeah.
Spooky text.
The program you're about to watch is a unique live investigation of the supernatural.
So what's actually really clever that they did here is that this is Michael Parkinson, and he is a big presenter over in the UK. Michael Parkinson is playing himself, so you can see how it would add a sense of legitimacy to the viewers watching this at the time. Oh, I don't like when the lights are out. Oh, forgot to mention, I love horror, but I'm pretty squeamish. As horror aficionados, we know probably a poltergeist. As we're watching this, we're going to think a lot about found footage films like Blair Witch, which came a few years later, and then, of course, Paranormal Activity. So it's kind of interesting to see how those films could have been influenced by this.
This is the phone number we'd like you to call us on. You can now see our Ghostwatch team are here, ready to take your calls. We particularly want to hear from you if you've had any personal experiences of ghosts or the supernatural. Call us now.
The BBC will soon regret taking those calls.
Does this camera differ in any way from the sort of camera you'd normally use on an outside broadcast?
In this case, it's been adapted so we can use infrared as well.
What's the best way to demonstrate it?
Well, if we can kill the lights.
See, I love this. From a filmmaker's perspective, they're doing a fantastic job kind of selling the docu-style of it. We see the way the camera's like shakily, like set down, like smart.
Okay, now we.
I mean, look at this. If I saw this on TV, I might be doubtful as to whether or not they would find anything, but I believe that this was an actual attempt from BBC presenters to check out a haunted house.
Kim? Suzanne? Can I join you?
What are they? Oh, they're apple. I thought they were vomiting in there.
Your stream has been temporarily blocked because we detected copyright audio and video. Uh-oh, stream unavailable. Are you kidding me?
What? Oh, yeah, it just said stream unavailable.
I think I'm just going to end this one and I'll start up another one.
Yeah, and we won't go back to this. We'll go to, like, a different video.
All right, I'm ending it now. That sucks.